Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts 3 playthrough. Here we are, at Galaxy Toys.
Hey, why doesn't that toy move?
I guess it hasn't figured it out.
Figured what out?
I can make it move for you.
Huh?
Oh hi, young
You're from the
Xehanort.
dream, the first of the Xehanorts!
I'm so honored you remember me.
Oh no, he can move.
Way cool.
Look out!
One heart's shadows fill the emptiness of another. See how they bring him to life? Like heartless and nobodies, they fit together.
Enough! Why are you doing this?
There's a darkness we are missing and must reclaim. The way hearts connect in this world can provide us with a clue. So we made a copy of the world, and then pulled those hearts apart. I wonder how you'll handle the strain.
Wait! What does that mean?
Don't let me down.
Whoa!
Buddy, what is going on? Is this toy a friend or foe?
I think we've got our answer.
Yeah, if the Heartless know how to do it, there's no reason you can't.
Do what? Huh? Brilliant! I'm on it!
And so we get to control one of the Gyguses, and they're pretty fun. You are sort of just going to be sort of strafing, shooting, a bit of punching, throw out some explosions every once in a while. But I have to say that this remix of what I think is Squirming Dark Evil is really awesome and really quite fun. And also, I have to say, once again, the way that music is used in the cutscenes in Kingdom Hearts 3, it's everything I ever wanted. Like, Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 and pretty much all of the other Kingdom Hearts games have always suffered in their cutscenes for not really making any use of music. Or at least where they have, it has just been the world theme, and it's not been very interesting, and some of the most iconic moments of Disney films just got kind of tossed aside and just were not very enjoyable at all. But as I mean, hopefully you've been able to see in what we've seen so far, it's already much more complex and much more actually in line with more standard cutscene music development. Like, it's much more in line with sort of your typical film stuff that you generally expect from cutscenes these days. And honestly, it does just make everything feel a lot more fluid, a lot more engaging. And yeah, as I said, it's everything that I ever wanted out of how the music works in Kingdom Hearts. And that scene is a good example. There are other scenes which I would say are more of a better example of it working phenomenally well. But it's just sort of one small example that I do think just works really well, and it ties you into this really quite nicely. I think there was a little strain of, I think it was Hand in Hand. I could be wrong, probably wrong on that one, but still, it was nice to have sort of that little strain of a theme that we know, and then obviously the remix of what I'm pretty sure is Squirming Dark Evil. There we go. The Heartless are defeated for the time being.
By accident?
Buzz?
It's nothing.
I'm confused. That guy in the black coat, did he say he made a copy of the real world? What's that mean?
It probably means they split this world in two. Your friends in one world, us in the other. Only one of the worlds is real, and the other is just really convincing.
You can't be serious. Oh, that's right, you're from a video game. Well, maybe in your game, that's how things work. But here in reality, you can't split worlds. This is ridiculous.
What most people think of the Kingdom Hearts franchise, in a nutshell, right there.
I admit, it does sound just a little far-fetched. But say we have been taken to some kind of alternate world. That would explain why your laser's real. And is it really that crazy? Worse than evil emperors and protecting the galaxy? Any of that ring a bell?
Point taken. But that just means these strangers are part of the delusion. And I say it's time we parted ways and went home.
Thought we were friends, not strangers.
Look, I get that it seems weird. But we know something's wrong with this place. We should stick together.
Sora's right. They helped with the intruders, so they might help find our friends. They have been there for us so far. You can't deny that. Come on. Every toy deserves a fair shake. Am I right?
Tell it to that toy over there.
Sheriff, sir! Huh? Rex has just been dino-napped!
What's that?
My men saw him get hauled up to the second floor, sir! And Ham and the aliens are MIA!
Come on. We have got to find them.
Please, let us help.
Yeah!
Well, Buzz? Do you really think we can save our friends on our own? We didn't get very far before. We gotta take all the help we can get.
Don't worry. Sora can be reckless, and Donald grumbles a lot.
It's true.
But you can trust him.
I suspect you do.
It's true.
Huh? He does?
See, they don't seem bad. Am I right, Buzz?
Okay, fine. We do need the extra help. But just so we're clear, I remain skeptical about this. I'll work with you till we find our friends.
Okay.
Thanks for the help, Sora, Donald, Goofy.
My troops will return to the field, sir!
This ascent is going to be rather tricky.
Too bad we're not strapped to a rocket, huh?
Hey, think we could use that?
Oh. It's perfect. Come on, guys.
So yes, this is a huge area. It's 3 entire floors worth of place to explore. It's gigantic. There's all sorts of really fun Easter eggs littered everywhere. Obviously, I mean, lucky emblems as well. Which I think that one is a little bit of a nightmare to get a picture of, but I will do. I will manage it.
Let's see.
But yeah, there's all sorts of toys, as you'd expect. But just a lot of various things that you would potentially recognise from other things. I mean, obviously the Virum Rex is, and the Gygus is a brand new thing that was created for this. But, like, you've got the dolls, which are sort of... They're your Barbie dolls, basically. Except they're called Julia, obviously, because there's only so much licensing that you can get away with in these sorts of things.
Let's see.
Then you've got various other things, which I'm sure I'll mention as we see them more plainly. But it's really quite fun. All of these boxes just look like toys that you used to, well, that you still get today. I mean, I remember that probably the closest I have an example that I've been to like this as a toy store would be Hamley's in London, which is just sort of a toy cornucopia. It's ridiculous. There's just so many toys in there, and it is sort of this bright, colourful, multi-layered, multi-tiered extravaganza of toyness. And I mean, it's been a very long time since I've been in Hamley's. It was definitely over 10 years ago when I last went. At which point I was a child. I mean, I think it might actually be 15. Might be 14 years ago now. I think I was 11. But what's actually really quite fun about that is that when we went, because it was my mum's 40th birthday, we went, and me and my sister both got teddy bears from the Build-A-Bear workshop, and I got mine, called him David, which ironically is, well, not ironically, but I gave him that name because had I not been called Richard, I would have been called David, and so I just thought, you know, pay it forward. And yeah, I've had that teddy bear ever since, and he has stayed with me throughout sort of everything. He's sort of my comfort blanket teddy bear, which I know it's really kind of sad for a 25-year-old to, you know, have a comfort blanket teddy bear, but who cares? Like, these things are sort of nice and cuddly and warm, and sometimes it's good to keep hold of your inner child. And honestly, considering, you know, that I'm talking over Kingdom Hearts, and also I'm such a Disney nut, like, clearly I very much like keeping in touch with my inner child. So it makes sense. Like, I mean, come on. Now, some of the other things that's quite fun with this is that there are some pretty nice little Pixar Easter eggs, as I mean you would expect. So, two which you would obviously expect are the Pizza Planet truck, and obviously it first appeared in the original Toy Story and then has appeared in every single Toy Story film after that, but also every single Pixar film after that. In here it is located just outside the Galaxy Toys entrance, so it is possible to see. And then there's also the A113, which is basically the room where it's a classroom used by graphic design and character animation students at the California Institute of the Arts. And so a lot of the alumni of that institute decided to start putting it into their films as a reference. Brad Bird really was the first one to use it in the Family Dog episode of Amazing Stories. And sort of following that, it has sort of continued to be used. That particular classroom is currently the first year graphic design studio, but obviously every single Pixar film has featured it and will continue to feature it because it is obviously such an important part of Pixar. And in terms of here, it is found on the license plate of a car opposite Andy's house, and also on a signpost outside the Kid Corral. Also, can I just say, rage form is terrifying when you enter into it. It only appears if you get really low on health, and it basically, I think, uses up health as you attack. So as you use the triangle, but you've got to keep kind of mashing the triangle to effectively get it to run down, so you can do the finish command and get out of rage mode, at which point generally somebody will hopefully have healed you, so you're not going to be as completely screwed. But it is a little bit of a challenge, I suppose. But that is fine. And I believe that we are going to have a wonderful time with one of the Flantastic Flans. This being the Strawberry Flan. I can't remember exactly how well this one's going to go, but it's an interesting one. So basically you get to use the Mad Teacups to try and collect as many of the flans as possible. Basically, if you hit into anything, then you will lose a flan off your height, and you basically just got to keep going higher and higher and higher. And you just got to, not ram into anything if you can at all help it, other than the flans that are on the floor. There will come a point where it becomes way too difficult to actually control this thing, because you just end up being so stupidly tall that you basically catch the ceiling of here, so you kind of have to end up rolling around in the middle bit and doing a sort of weird crazy movement, basically like what I'm doing right now. And then, as you can see, I ended up losing a huge number of the blighters. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's quite fun to just sort of roll about and just sort of see exactly how it's gonna go down. But yeah, there comes a point like around now where basically you can only really do anything sort of in the middle, and yeah. But I think that went okay. And that is actually a fully successful Flan minigame completed. I'm quite proud of that one, considering that was my first time doing that. So that worked out quite well. Most of the rest of them are not going to go that well, but hey.
I bet we'll find some ingredients around here.
Yes, Goofy, I'm sure we will. So there are a couple of other Easter eggs that appear in Toy Box, although we have sort of gone past the area where they would be most noticeable. So two of the books on Andy's bookshelf in Andy's room bear the titles of two of Pixar's short films, The Tin Toy and Red's Dream. The same books do also appear in the original movie. I believe Tin Toy was basically the first short really that they ever made, or well, the third short film produced by the company's animation division. So it was sort of very, very early on, and I think that ultimately it was what enabled Toy Story to get made, because it was elements of Tin Toy that sort of inspired that. Red's Dream was the second animated short from Pixar, following Luxo Jr., which was the first one. Luxo Jr. being the one with the lamps, which inspired the logo that Pixar have had ever since. Red's Dream is a unicycle, and having fun with that. Annoyingly, all three of those were directed by John Lasseter, who is obviously quite now very much disgraced due to various elements of sexual misconduct, and it's always quite it's really not very pleasant when things like that occur to people who you once had a great respect for, because it then introduces a whole thing where you kind of got to go, do I still enjoy the stuff that they created? Is there enough of a divide between artist and art? Or does the sins of the artist affect how I view the art? And
You sure you saw him?
I still don't know quite where I sit on that
You guys hear something?
fence. But I think, considering the large number of other people who've worked on the various projects, I think in the case of, say, Toy Story, I can sort of look past what Lasseter has done, but only in terms of the arts. Obviously, he's become a bit more of an arsehole in terms of the way I view him. But
Play nice,
there we go, that's a bit of serious talk there. Obviously, not necessarily the type of serious talk that we should necessarily be engaging with when we're talking about Kingdom Hearts, but still something that I think is useful to discuss at times. So yes, this right here is a supreme smasher, and it's slightly terrifying. It's the same as the Gygus is. It's very big, it's surprisingly heavy hitting, and you are very much going to want to get into a Gygus and go from there. I think it's one of the things that I do wish that Toy Story, or at least the Toy Box, did slightly differently, and that is just that some of these bigger toys effectively require the use of the Gygus. And while that is not necessarily a bad thing, because it means that, you know, you end up using the Gygus, it actually has a purpose, I do prefer having the option to avoid using those things if I do not have to. It's just one of those things of, I don't necessarily like to be forced into a certain gameplay style if I can help it.
What's this? Oh no! What did I do?
Nice moves, Rex.
That was great! Great? Really? Would you say I was impressive?
Very impressive, Rex. We couldn't look away.
Hooray! Oh, that makes me so happy. Were you watching too? Did you see what I did? I was going for fearsome, but I
Listen,
think I
Rex,
might have actually
would you
achieved something close to
Earth to
terrifying.
Rex.
Do you know where the others were taken?
What do you mean? Did something bad happen?
Back to square one.
Oh, great. Huh? Sarge, have you got a status report?
Sir, one of my men just located Ham forward of our position, in babies and toddlers. The corporal was debriefing him, but something must have gone wrong. All radio contact has been lost.
Anything more specific we can go on?
Right before I lost contact, I heard music with some sort of sonic interference.
Music?
You think it could be the Heartless?
What if it's another big monster?
Let's find out.
I agree.
Actually, I think I'll head back and wait by the entrance. I'm sure those vents are going to be much too narrow for my big dinosaur tail.
Really? I'm sure you'd fit.
Rex is right. Besides, we need a lookout at the entrance. It's an important mission. Can you do it?
Yes, sir!
So, yes. I have to say, Beasts and Bugs, quite a fun little store in here. I mean, I like that you can, you know, hit the cash registers and get that. Although, I can't believe I just called it a cash register, because really, in the UK, it's a till. That's what it is. I suppose because Toy Story is very American, it's just ultimately what you end up with. But, yeah, there's all these brands that they came up with. So you've got Beasts and Bugs. There's a lovely little reference there to Dissidia NT with some quite amazing statues, actually. You've got scale models of Bahamut, Ifrit, and Odin. There's also boxes for models of Rama, Leviathan, and Alexander found near the display. You got sort of this Roblox type, Robot Union, or Robo Union, or whatever it's called. Battle saws. I have to say, these are all very much types of toys that I can imagine me being into when I was younger. I mean, basically, like when I was younger, Bionicles. Loved my Bionicles. I've still actually got all of them that I collected up in the loft at the minute, like all the way back to the original Bionicles. It's crazy. Also, there was a I can't remember what the name of the actual franchise was called. It was a very short-lived one. Definitely very short-lived. But it was like a Knight's Quest, Knight's Kingdom, something or other of that ilk. And it was, it was basically Bionicles, but Knights with sort of slightly more together pieces and slightly less robot looking. And I had them. Obviously, I had a wonderful time with Lego. Loved my Lego. I mean, so me and my sister went to London to go and see Aladdin, because obviously we're big kids. And whilst we were there, because my sister's boyfriend has a godson who is really into Lego, I was just like, since we're in Leicester Square and there's the Lego store, let's go in and have a look. And, oh my god, it was delightful. Like, there's just this wall, which is just like a vista of London in Lego, and it's amazing. And also, I was just geeking out over all of the other Lego figures and sets that they had. I mean, like, there was a Lego Disney Castle, for God's sake. I mean, I would never be able to afford it, I would never buy it. I would try if, when I eventually have children, I hope, in the future, they are so into Lego and want those very expensive sets, because they were like 400 quid. And while I love a bit of Lego, and I think that anybody getting involved in any of that sort of stuff, good on you. 400 quid for some plastic is a little bit too much for me. Says the person who, you know, spent like, was it 400 quid on a PS4? I feel like it might have been cheaper than that. So I suppose in that respect, it's the same thing. It all depends on how much joy you get out of using it and what you want to do with it after that. So I mean, I suppose I can see there's a bit sense being made, but I feel sort of, at least with technology, there's an explanation for the price rather than just the amount of plastic in there. But I will say that it was still incredibly impressive, and I did have a massive geek moment. I mean, especially over the Millennium Falcon. The Lego Millennium Falcon was amazing. And before anybody asks, because of course you can ask these things, I have been to Legoland Windsor, many years ago. So I have no idea what it's like right now, but I went a couple of times when I was a kid, and bar a couple of incidences, which meant that we got free trips to go after that. It was fun, and Legoland as an idea is just really great fun. But we've managed to get to the upper vents, and I think that hopefully Ham will be waiting for us right in the next room. But I just want to investigate what's down here. It basically just loops as background. Okay, that's fine, that makes sense. Right, now that little side journey's done, let's go find Ham.